job. I would have never done anything to jeopardize it. Thank you.
Would never jeopardize your job? I mean, you basically made an infomercial on how to rob the LAX MAC cosmetics store. You showed us what time you pre-open, you showed us your badge, you showed us where the cash is, and you showed us how much cash there is. The fact you got fired for this and still posted the video.
So a couple of weeks back, I had a conversation about whether or not we should start thinning the herd.
Thinning the herd. Ah yes, the title of that video should give you a clue of what it's about.
And when I say thin the herd, what I mean is we need to start reducing the male population.
Interesting. I wonder how they're planning on going about doing that.
We as women need to start really controlling who is born and who is not.
Let us be very clear. They're referring to women taking control of the entire human population by ensuring that only certain members of particular demographics are actually born. There's a word for that.
Men are okay infringing on your rights by telling you that you cannot have an abortion, that they'd rather save the child than to save the mother. They are okay with having say-so or regard over your body. So me, I feel as a woman, I feel no types of way saying to reduce the male population altogether.
Some individuals are not going to like what I'm about to say, specifically some women, but I am about to be very blunt. If you happen to be worried about giving birth to a boy because you're concerned that he's going to grow up to be a misogynist or someone that's going to take your rights away, well then, all I have to say is that you failed as a parent.
In order for us to achieve peace on planet Earth and get the things that we want to get out of this life, we're going to have to delete 90% of men. Yes, that includes your awful baby daddy and your father. So if I was president of the universe, we would literally structure society so that we can finally achieve a matriarchy. But in order to do that, we have to get rid of most men because let's just face it, most men are not.
This has got to be by far the most dumbest statement I've ever heard in my...
Yes, matriarchal societies have existed. That part is technically true. But this is where the selective storytelling begins. Real life is not a Netflix series, and history does not bend to ideology. These structures did not dominate the world for a reason, and it's not because men suppressed some perfect system. It's because, long-term, they didn't scale, stabilize, or outperform other societal models. Before we even get into the clip, let's pause for a second. Because this idea right here gets repeated online like it's a historical fact when it's really a fantasy. Before we dive in, drop a comment. Are modern men more delusional? Or is it the ladies? Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss what we expose next. Now, let's address what was just said. What's especially ironic is how these systems get marketed today as peaceful, nurturing utopias, as if simply flipping the power dynamic automatically removes conflict, hierarchy, or human nature. That belief alone tells you how detached the argument is from reality. Power doesn't magically become virtuous because women hold it. Humans are humans, regardless of gender. When we actually look at the historical record, many of these matriarchal or female-led societies were just as harsh, just as competitive, and in some cases even more brutal than their neighboring cultures. Scarcity still existed. Violence still existed. Inequality still existed. The only thing that changed was who was at the top, not how power was used. This is the core delusion being exposed here. Modern ideology teaches that men are the problem. Masculinity is the problem. Hierarchy is the problem. So people convince themselves that if women ran everything, society would suddenly become soft, fair, and emotionally enlightened. That's not how civilization works. That's how wishful thinking works. What history actually shows us is that stable societies require balance, accountability, and structure, not gender-based revenge fantasies disguised as progress. Pretending otherwise isn't empowerment, it's denial. And denial doesn't build civilizations, it just repeats the same mistakes with a different narrative attached.
What year the War of 1812 was? It's kind of probably like... Ooh. You don't know what year the War of 1812 was? I think it was...
I don't know.
How much is a quarter of an hour? That's a good one.
A quarter of an hour? 20... 25 minutes.
What is 3 times 3 times 3?
18. 3 times 3 times 3?
Yeah.
21.
Close.
22?
No.
Am I retarded?
No.
I'm like fried right now.
You were really close.
Yes.
20?
Up.
I said 20, 23, 24, 25.
Oh, hello. I'm good. Yeah. I also miss you. I'm just chilling right now. Yes. It's so funny. Oh no, I have to go. Oh.
You serious?
Even if I were to be engaged or have a man, like, you need to go to work every single day. Like, I don't want you in my space all the time. You also need to have your own bathroom. I just have a lot of requirements.
When you think about an abusive relationship, you might picture a woman isolated and locked away in a house. But what if abuse could also look like a man sent out of the house, working 14-hour days? What if male abuse looks like domestic slavery and female abuse looks like financial slavery? A man working 70 hours a week to redecorate a house that he's not even allowed to relax in. Let's go back to the chart. I'm going to explain each one of these steps. But let me be clear, I'm not talking about all women. This isn't a blueprint for relationships. This is what describes female abusive relationships. Step 1 is simple. Find a man who still believes the myth that all women are gentle, kind, and nurturing. That's the man that she targets, the guy who's never been warned. He doesn't know what's coming, and when he's saying his wedding vows and sees that smile on her face, he assumes it's from sweetness, from love. He has no idea that it's actually the smile of satisfaction that a predator gets knowing that prey has walked into its trap. This is why you're subscribed to this channel, because you need to be aware that women do have a dark side so that you can avoid that fate. Step 2 is to break his confidence. She nags, she insults, she disrespects, every word designed to grind you down. She wants to break you apart internally, make you feel so bad about yourself that you don't have the strength to stand up for yourself. She'll use a lot of guilt, make you feel like you're a villain and that you owe her. That way, when she demands more, you don't resist, you apologize. There's a reason why she keeps a list of your failures and shortcomings close at hand. It's because she is slowly conditioning you. Her goal is to erase your personhood and then make you an extension of her will, always serving her interests. And that's step 3, getting control over you. Bit by bit, she chips away at your sense of self until there's nothing left but obedience. It's so sad. You see this with couples sometimes where it's obvious that the man has been completely broken. He just follows her around like a lapdog. It's awful. And these women enforce their control by a dual use.
This right here is exactly why avoiding selfish people is not optional. It is a survival skill. Selfish individuals do not operate on morals, ethics, loyalty, or long-term thinking. They operate on incentives. Every decision they make runs through one filter only. What do I gain? And what does it cost me? If you understand that a lot of modern dating disasters suddenly make sense when someone is wired this way, they don't see relationships as partnerships. They see them as transactions. You are not a person to them. You are a resource. Time, attention, money, protection, validation. Once that value drops, so does their behavior. And this is where a lot of men get blindsided. You can usually spot when a man has fallen into this trap because he wasn't prepared to believe it existed in the first place. As was just said, it often comes down to not knowing any better. He was raised on narratives that told him women are automatically virtuous, emotionally superior, and incapable of calculated harm. So when the warning signs appear, he rationalizes them away instead of recognizing them. This is the danger of assuming innocence by default. If you believe all women are angels who would never lie, manipulate, or act in self-interest, you will never see the trap forming around you. Not because the trap is invisible, but because your worldview refuses to allow it to be real. And to be clear, this is not about demonizing women. This is about accountability and realism. Selfishness is not a gendered trait, but denial absolutely has consequences. When you are taught that one group is incapable of wrongdoing, you stop using discernment. You stop vetting. You stop paying attention to patterns. The hard truth is this: good intentions do not protect you from bad actors. Awareness does, and the moment you replace critical thinking with blind idealism, you make yourself an easy target, not just in dating, but in life.
Talk to you no more. Can you please bring my kid out before I call the police? It's my time of visit. Just bring him out. We'll settle this in court. We'll go back, okay? Period.
Calling the police.
We'll call the police if that's what I have to do, because I'm telling you that I don't want to speak to you no more, okay? Conversation ended once I told you I don't want to speak to you. I don't need to listen to you. It's my time of visit. Bring my kid out. I'll leave at 7 when I leave. Period, point blank.
Just clarify, I'm trying to better our
We don't come to an agreement. You think you know everything? Okay. Can you please bring me my kid out?
I just want you to clarify since
Please bring my kid out.
False accusers should be in jail. False accusers should be in jail. I don't know why that sentence is so complicated to people. There's a streamer named Ty Lil who recently faced essay allegations, and he just debunked the shit out of them. He plays video evidence of her asking, "Am I a one-night stand?" in a hotel room after, presumably, they just hooked up. On December 8th, she sends him this emoji. He does not respond, so what does she do? She sends a Zell request for 2 bands talking about for playing with me. Again, no response from Ty Lil. So what does she do? 3 hours later, sends him this photo, me giving him his last warning before I show him who I really am. Wake the up, people. This happens every day. Every damn day. It's a new woman. It's a new doing it. Y'all know where my passion on this subject comes from. I've been down this road before, unfortunately. Some of y'all may know that. Think that it's a game. And you know what happens when I'm telling a new girl that I'm talking to that this happened to me in the past? About like 30% of the time, the girl will look at me and be like, "Oh, don't piss me off. I might be next." Under the jail. This is why I tell y'all to be cautious when believing bullshit like this on the internet. That's pretty much it. What do y'all think about the situation? As for Ty Lil, he'll recover just fine from this. He debunked it as is. But traumatically, this will affect him. This affects everybody who deals with it. It is tough, bro. It is traumatic.
Men take their lives all the time over false accusations because they simply cannot do anything about it. They might be able to get lucky enough to go spend half a decade in court to prove their innocence, but in the process of them doing that, they have lost their entire lives, their careers are over, and their reputations are ruined, okay? This Ty Lil situation just proves to me that most of the women who are doing this and accusing these men of doing these horrible things to them are truly doing it for passion. She was passionate about trying to ruin Ty Lil's career and reputation. The text messages that she was sending to him, I couldn't even fathom what I was reading over. And just the thought of that she will be receiving 0 punishment and 0 prison time for what she just tried to make an attempt at, and all of the women also who have done the same thing and got caught the same way she has will also be receiving 0 punishment and 0 prison time, and maybe a slap on the wrist, and maybe a little media backlash until everybody simply just forgets about what happened, is simply pathetic. It takes people's lives. Why is nobody understanding that? Also, could you imagine if Ty Lil was a regular dude and he didn't have this platform to be able to get on there and prove his innocence and debunk all these accusations thrown against him? His life would simply be ruined and his reputation would be ruined. So next time this happens to somebody, can we immediately not jump to conclusions and immediately not believe the victim off the get-go without any information being released? What happened to innocent until proven guilty? Like,
This is where the conversation gets uncomfortable, because it forces people to confront incentives instead of emotions. When systems fail to enforce accountability consistently, behavior adapts to that reality. That is not bitterness. That is basic human psychology. The argument being made here isn't that wrongdoing doesn't matter. It's that consequences matter more than intentions. If false accusations are rarely punished, the message sent is that the risk is low. If paternity, fraud, infidelity, or deception inside marriage carries minimal repercussions in practice, the system quietly teaches people what they can get away with, not what they should do. And this is where a lot of men wake up far too late. They are taught that marriage is automatically safe, that the law is neutral, and that fairness is guaranteed simply because it's written down. Then reality hits. Divorce proceedings, asset division, long-term financial obligations, all enforced regardless of how honest or dishonest one party behaved leading up to it. Now, zoom out even further. This frustration doesn't come from isolated anecdotes. It comes from a broader pattern people notice across the justice system: sentencing disparities, enforcement discretion, and social sympathy that often leans one direction. whether people want to admit it or not. Public perception, identity, narratives, and cultural protection instincts influence outcomes, especially when emotions are involved. And that's the key point. A system doesn't have to be evil to be biased. Bias often comes from good intentions mixed with outdated assumptions, like the belief that women are inherently less culpable, less dangerous, or more deserving of leniency. Those assumptions may sound compassionate, but they distort accountability. The result is predictable. When one group is routinely shielded from consequences, trust erodes. Men stop believing the system will protect them. They become risk-averse, guarded, and disengaged, not because they hate commitment, but because the cost of being wrong is too high. This isn't about attacking women. It's about questioning a system that claims fairness while producing outcomes that feel anything but equal. And until accountability is applied consistently, resentment will continue to grow because people can accept harsh rules far more easily than uneven ones.
Mamacito 6'2".
No, I'm fine.
97.4% of women would prefer incarceration to admitting fault. This is according to a new study from Penn State. They had about 3,000 or so women, about 3,000 or so men, and 97.4% of the women consistently chose incarceration in prison as the better alternative than admitting they were wrong. For comparison's sake, 11% of men did the same thing. So 11% of men, which, like, how stupid are you? But 11% of men, at least that means 89% of men are like, nah, I'll just admit I was wrong. But 97.4% of women, not more than 97% of women, would prefer to go to prison than admit they were at fault. That's insanity. Like, that is a level of accountability that I seriously can't even think of the word for it. Like, and I'm even blown away that 11% of men were like, I'd rather go to prison than admit I was wrong. But 97.4%, ladies, how allergic are you to accountability?
And she's like, sir, excuse me, sir, can you reach this off the top shelf for me? We're short. I look at him, he look at me, he said, boo. The fact that he knew he needed permission to help these people, and the fact that they thought they could just ask him.
That is what insecurity looks like. And not only is she insecure, but she's also very disrespectful. She posted that video, and if you go to the comment section of that video, the way how they are dogpiling on her husband and talking about his looks, and she refused to take the video down. And he didn't do anything wrong. All she did was pan the camera around on him, and he's catching all the stray bullets right now. I can understand if she posted the video and didn't expect the comment section to go the way that it's going, but once you see that, and you see that people are dogpiling on your husband, and they're also disrespecting her in the comment section, why would you not then delete the video? I'll tell you why. It's because it's the most views in comments she's ever got.
And this is exactly why the conversation does not stop here. If what you just heard made you uncomfortable, challenged assumptions, or forced you to rethink narratives you were taught to accept without question, that's a good thing. Growth rarely feels pleasant in the moment. These topics matter because they are not theoretical. They shape how people date, marry, trust, and protect themselves in the real world. Ignoring these patterns doesn't make them disappear. It just guarantees more people learn the hard way instead of the smart way. So, if this breakdown resonated with you, the next video takes this even further. More examples, more receipts, and more uncomfortable truths that most platforms would rather you never question. If you enjoyed this video, I promise you will love the next one. I'll see you there.